Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Lessons and Legacies. I am your host, Melissa Price. This is season 2, episode 13. Lucky number 13. You guys know I'm going to break down the numbers for you in a bit. So I am your host, and I'll just take a minute and let you know who I am in case you're brand new to the show. But I am a mother of 2 children, Charlotte and Sophie. They are 8 and almost 10 years old. I am celebrating my 10-year wedding anniversary this month, so I'm a fighter and a survivor because I'm a wife, you know. Other than that, I am an author. I just published a book. Do I not have it? Yes, I do have it. I just published a book last year called Lessons We've Learned, Legacies of Life, which in turn brought me to the podcast, Lessons and Legacies. And the purpose of this podcast is just to be a reminder in your daily lives that there is a blessing inside every lesson. Your stories matter. The trials and tribulations that we go through matter, and it's so important for us to share them with one another. One, it shows how connected we are. Even though we are all like as unique as a snowflake on the outside, we are extremely connected on the inside by our experiences and the things that we go through in life. So, you know, even those sticky situations that you might be going through, if you share that, what got you through it or what's getting you through it, you would be surprised to know how many other people are out there experiencing the same thing. And by you sharing, you give someone the hope of surviving, and you can also give them the tips, tricks, and tools of what to do and what not to do. So I've just come across many wonderful people in my life who are brave enough to share their stories with me, and it impacted my world in such a way that I wanted to make the book, make the podcast, and really the underlying goal is just to connect people. So often I have guests, many are repeat. Sometimes we have new faces, and sometimes you get me. Today is a very special episode. It's impromptu, and I am blessed to invite somebody to, for a second time, back to the show that I gave up on calling a friend this year. Instead, I call him my big brother. He is none other than the one and only William Brown. Welcome.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to see you, and I'm so grateful that you agreed to be here on this sideways sort of day.
You know, and I am great that you embrace the big brother, because I don't know if you remember one time you said, "Oh, you're old enough to be my dad."
My daddy, like, I know. I do.
Like,
I remember that. I said it on the show. I think I said that on your show, actually.
I know, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, you know, I didn't mean it in a bad way.
I know, but it just hit. And I was like, wow, okay.
So you are not my daddy. You are in fact my big brother. It would be bad if I was sitting here welcoming Big Daddy to the stage instead of Big Brother, right? You knew you weren't going to come on here without
we are right? Sideways already, right?
We were sideways before we even showed up today. Right. And that's what today's topic is all about. And this actually was inspired by you. And before we get into that, I would love very much if you can just take a minute and tell everybody a little bit about who you are. I know a lot of people see us on Sundays together, but tell everybody a little bit more about you, not just our view.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. I am William Brown from IamWilliamBrown.com. I am a self-awareness coach. I am a husband of 30 years, and I have 4 adult children. I'm a dreamer that is up to figuring this whole thing out, one step at a time. So that's who I am.
And you're a dad, right?
Right.
And a husband. You're an awareness coach and a dreamer. I love that you've added the dreamer thing in there, because that's kind of like the basis of like the underlying undertone of a lot of our conversations as of late, not just like recent, I'm saying over the last several weeks. So I think that's definitely going to come into today's conversation as well.
Yeah. The dreamer, look, I had that label before and I let it go because, I said to myself, I like screwed up my dream. So I need to like stay away from my dream. So it's like, okay, I'm not a dreamer. I'm not going after it because I like mess it up.
Right.
But it's, that dreamer gene got activated again. So it's like, all right, here we go. Here we
How does
go
that
again.
make you feel? How do you feel when the dreamer in you gets activated? What does it do for you?
Oh, it really excites me, but scares me.
Yeah.
Right. I posted something on online today that, there's this meme that, it says, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. I says, well,
Yes, I saw that and I
like,
loved it.
they scare the hell out of me. So I guess I'm
Right.
good. Right.
Right.
So,
Like mission accomplished.
right. And it's like just trying to balance that fear, and moving forward and really, and having faith that the reason why I have this dream is because, it's mine, right? It's my life. It is something that, is going to be manifest when I'm willing to step into it. So, yeah.
I think I posted in your thing this morning. You got to have mustard seeds move mountains, baby.
Yeah.
Got that mustard seed, and you can't be afraid to use it, right?
Right. I love that. It's just like really recognizing that, for me, it feels like I need so much more than that mustard seed, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, geez, if I'm not doing anything, what, what actual side is it? Because
right, exactly.
I'm not moving any mountains because, I think I got big faith, and it's like, nah, it's like, so nothing's moved. So yeah, just trying to, maybe we need a faith meter or something to know. It's
a faithometer.
Right, a faithometer
right?
or something, right? So it's like,
I love
mustard
it.
seeds or less. So I don't know.
So today's topic is all about showing up sideways. Did you dig the little flyer that I made on Canva?
Yeah, that was great. When you
I had to go sideways with it, man.
Right. When you asked me for a photo, I'm all, straight laced, dignified, my professional, all that kind of thing. And then you're like, too late. I was like, uh-oh. And then I looked.
You know what? I went, and the two that you sent me were the first two. I just went to your Facebook stuff and started trolling,
Right.
And I was like, I can remove the background because you taught me how to do that.
Right.
And so those were the first two I picked. And then I saw that one of you and everything went sideways. I was like, oh no, we're talking about sideways stuff. You should totally not make the most professional of posts here. I have a plethora of photos where I'm like, but it was like, you don't have very many.
Right.
You are very straight laced. And I was like, oh, what a gem that one is. So I had to do that and slap it with the psychedelic snail. It was like one of the weirdest backgrounds I could find.
Yeah.
All right, let's work with this. Was my creative project of post lunch today.
Yeah, that was
great.
Yeah,
I was waiting for you to text and be like, what the heck were you thinking?
I just laugh. I says, all right, here we go.
We got to go sideways.
Right. Here we go.
So sideways. And so this was inspired by you this morning. And so every day, tell everybody what you're happy today, what the premise is and what you do and when that's on. And then let's talk about today's, because it literally stopped me from a huge obligation I had today. It's going to come up in this conversation too, but I couldn't let it go. And that's why I'm really glad that you decided to come, because I was like, I just need to talk with him about this.
Right. Yeah. So happy today. When I mentioned when I got in my self-awareness journey, I went through my shitstorm, or it was like a lot of small shitstorms close together. Right. I just I was just saying, I want to be happy. And I was looking for this, happy somewhere else. And I just got to the point. It's like, well, what does happy mean to me? And from that, I was like, hey, I want to experience happy, or I can experience happy every day, because all we have is today. So I say, okay, every day is a happy today. And so my happy today morning reflections at 7 a.m. is
I
that
love. I usually catch them at 7:30, right at the end. I have to
right,
replay because they can't get up early. But
right, and there was a moment this week where I was like, yeah, I'm happy to be alive, but I'm not getting up right yet.
right,
But no, it's something, the reflection, and I really got it from from our other sister, Precious,
Precious.
of why reflection is. I am when I'm asking the question, who woke up this morning, and with that, I am deciding if I am going to show up.
Right.
That's what the light. Am I going to be the light today? And from that inquiry of just waking up and deciding, making that decision, seeing what state has waken up, and how I want to tackle, this gift of a day, and just going from there. And I have prompts, either, I bring my U cards, or I have Oracle cards, and the prompt that I got
And
today,
the affirmations,
and the
right?
affirmations, right? And was change. And so I was looking at change, and seeing how change, my relationship to change, and compassion, and I recognized when I was like saying that, it's like, oh, I wanted to have my camera, one way, but it's just that way, and I'm just going to deal with it. And I was
Right.
like, well, that's my life.
Right.
I believe that my life could be something else, and I just decide to deal with what I have. And I says, well, not today.
Right.
And I turned it side. It was like this violent turn to the side. And
Yes,
that's
you
how
were
it.
aggravated.
And I just did it, and I was like, I think I'm sideways, right?
Right.
And then it was like within me, it was like, you got to go back, and I was like, nope, I'm staying
I
sideways.
loved it. You were such a rebel. You were a rebel without a cause today. I was watching you. I watched your video 2.5 times today from this morning. I'm not even kidding. And it just resonated with me because you were in such a way. Like you were, I was like, there was like some anxious frustration, then some pissed off, and then some this, and then and you were like, screw it, I'm letting go of my stuff. I'm just gonna let this roll. Watch me, And I was like, look at you go, William Brown. All right. So I really got into it, and I was like this, like totally dialed in, not listening. I was just like I was watching the show,
Right. Because
so I don't know. There was something you embodied today, and this whole showing up sideways. It has a few parallels. I love the fact that you went, and because I've done that before too, I started giggling. And then because I've done it, where I was doing the epoxy videos back in the day, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be a better shot. I can get more if I go sideways. And it doesn't show up on your phone or whatever you're using usually, but when you go upload it or whatever, it comes up sideways, and you're like, oh, what a waste, But then I started giggling even more because I just know you, and I'm like, he sits there and he knows it's sideways, and it's got to be killing him not to turn the phone back around, It's just got to be killing you. So that was one of the things. Like you had to let go to be sideways, and like I said, this is going to have a couple different paradigms to the word here. But okay, so let's get into it over sideways. What does it mean to feel sideways to you? What does it feel like to be sideways? What does it mean? What does that mean to you? Define it according to William Brown.
It was, it's out of sorts, right? It's it is, this was the plan. It's like, sometimes, I've been married for 30 years, right? So
you've had plenty of those moments. I've only been married for 10, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll make it to 30.
Or, there are those moments you're having a conversation, and then it's like, oh, that went sideways, right? And it's just like, what the hell just happened here, right?
Exactly.
And it's like something happens that causes you to causes me to just kind of feel like it's off. I'm off. I didn't understand something. I wanted to do something. It's not the way. It's like, so there's this out of sorts. And so my tendency.
What other feelings come with the out of sorts to you?
Oh,
Like when you are the one that's sideways, because we're talking about circumstances being sideways, but let's talk about when we feel sideways. What accompanying emotions or labels come with that?
Right. It's for me, it's uncomfortable. It's I want to I get really tense, right? There's this feeling that, okay, there's this level of discomfort that I do not want to stay in. So it's just like, what can I do to kind of make this right? And so, like you were saying, that's what was going on while I'm like, okay, I hope this is not sideways, but I know it is. This video is sideways. And how am I going to like deal with this? But you
did that. You were so real. You demonstrated it perfectly. And that's why we're having this conversation. Obviously it impacted,
Right. Yeah. It was really, I didn't realize until after the video was over and I was like, packing up and, and coming back to my house, that it was like, that was a big thing that you just did.
That was a huge thing. I was like I said, I dropped everything. I was in my bathroom, leaning over the sink and just like this.
Because
wow, look at what he's doing right now. But I know you. And for anybody who doesn't know William Brown and hasn't been following for a while, please look him up on the FaceSpace and YouTube. I know this man, and this was a huge, it was like it was almost like you went streaking through the quad today, It was like you got a little naked there. You let whatever you were feeling and dealing with in the moment just take over. Like you were just there. You were totally present and aware. And I saw that. I witnessed it. And so it brought me to this whole thing of like, well, why is sideways so bad? And what does that actually mean? For you, you said it makes, uncomfortable is a word that goes intense. Go with it for you. When I show up sideways, I usually feel like there's a time factor in it. Like, so I feel like there's this lack of time and I will get shaky and I would say panicked.
Wow.
Panicked and unstable, shaky. You get tensed and uncomfortable, like maybe you're sitting in a puddle.
Right. It's like freeze.
And I get panicked like I am on an Empire State Building and, different reactions, but that's sideways. Okay. And out of sorts. I will agree with you there. It's definitely out of sorts. And whatever that level is for each one of us, it is. But so it got me thinking, okay, why is sideways? Why does showing up out of sorts make us respond in that way? What is so bad about it?
I think for me, I didn't realize how it's like I did and I didn't of showing up looking good. Right.
You mentioned that this morning, and that's what I wrote down too. People's judgments.
Yeah, it was like I wanted. I say, be you, right? That's my thing. That's the conversation. Right. But there's still within me. There's a part of me that wants to be myself. Looking good for other people, right?
Right. Either you want to be a good example or you want to represent well or whatever. But no, that hit me. I had made notes on your stuff today. I'm not even. There were so many nuggets in there that I was like, wow. Why do we care? Why do we care? And it boils down to people's judgments, people's opinions, and it's all the way back to grade school. It's like people were telling me, oh, you shouldn't care what other people think you look like and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But showing it still comes through. I don't want to be the one that's showing up looking like, oh, I was in a rush to get here. I want to come across composed and this way and that way. But people want real, right? We are real. Why fake it? Why wear
Right.
the mask? Why not rush in and be like, oh my God, I've had a day. My name is Melissa Price. Nice to meet you. Yes, I'm rushed, but here I am. You've got me now. You know, don't you
Right.
think someone would probably appreciate that more? You would think,
Yeah.
but
And
not everybody's the same.
right. But I think people, because look at difficult. So, and I've been, I think about a lot of things, but this is the other thing that I thought about in the past before, is like when someone is dealing with something difficult, right?
Right.
And you don't know what to say. And after the fact, they'll say, I'm just so glad you're here, that you were there for me, right?
Right.
And it's like just being there is enough. And I think sometimes we don't realize that just our presence, no matter if we're sideways or
Right.
anyways, just showing up.
Hair done, makeup
Right,
on,
right. All that other, all the
teeth
other
brushed.
things that we get so caught up with gets in the way from us just being there, right? And so that was something that, as I said within there, and there's a little emotion coming up, is just having that compassion for myself,
Yeah.
that I don't have to be
Perfect.
perfect. If even if it's not for other people, but for myself,
Right.
right? And have all the answers, know everything, have all the T's crossed, and I almost said the
I've
T's
done
dotted,
it in the
right?
teeth
Right. I
cross.
was,
Yeah.
I was like, stop. Don't dot your T's, right? Right, right? It's like,
I wouldn't have even noticed that part. As
right.
long as you got the I's and the T's in the right order, I wouldn't even caught the cross or the dot.
Right. And it's one of those things that I appreciate about my current journey, but it's so funny because I had this. There's another post that I said I was going to post today, but I haven't yet. But I'll probably do later. Because it was probably for this conversation, is that there has been thoughts of going through my mind, because I said within my post that I'm toying with sanity and insanity, and I've been asking myself this question, that am I going crazy right now? Is this like, it's like,
Yes,
because I'm like losing my mind.
I'm
and
I'm, I'm with you.
and I had a friend say, it's like, a good sign that you're not going crazy is that you're questioning if you're going crazy. Most
That you're
crazy.
trying to rationalize your own thought is probably a good sign
Right.
that you're rational.
Right, because crazy people don't question if they're crazy, right? Right? They're
They
just
just do. Right.
they're just crazy.
They just do.
Right. And so it's like the fact that I'm questioning if I'm crazy lets me know that I'm not crazy.
Right.
So
And if you're ever in doubt, you've got a posse here. Just
right.
be like, do you think I'm nuts? We'll be honest with you.
Right. Yes, you will. Yes, you
You
will.
know I will.
Right. And
Dr. Deborah's in the house. So is Yvette. Yvette says, hey, I'm just waking up. Just waking up. And Dr. Deb says, sometimes we just have to push the button and show up sideways. Right.
absolutely.
Absolutely. And Dr. Deborah, she's got, I don't know if you got to watch earlier, but she's got a 8:30 p.m. healing moment with Dr. Deborah,
Yeah.
and it's on spirit or warfare in the soul, spiritual warfare in the soul sort of
Oh,
thing.
wow.
So I'm looking really forward
to that. Yeah, 8:30 tonight. Right. Yeah.
Always on Tuesdays on Facebook. I can't wait. So looking forward to tuning in. I've already set my reminder, and I told the kids, you're going to bed early. Tuesday.
Dr. Deborah's on, right?
Clocking in for Dr. Deb, you better clock into your pillow. So, all right. So we understand how sideways makes us feel.
Mhm.
I would like to know what gets you into that sideways state. What puts you into being sideways? I'll say for me, procrastination is one thing.
Wow.
When I procrastinate, first of all, I feel like I'm one of those things, if I've got a project that matters and it's not just a fun padiddle project, but it's something that it's for a client, for myself, something for my store, whatever, for my daughter's birthday. Like if it's something that matters to me, I cannot work at something like this tiny little bit at a time. Like I have to have in the zone time, or I'll lose my flow. And I get frustrated when I get interrupted. So I purposely like try to block out, I can do it for 2 hours here, blah, blah, blah. But oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I got a feather in my throat. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? You have to help me.
Yeah. No, you were talking about your zone. You have to get in the zone.
Yeah. So I got to get in the zone. And if I'm not, like I said, I'll go sideways.
Right.
And so I will procrastinate a project to the last minute in order to get that special time. And then procrastination will put me over the edge sideways. Like I've waited too long. I work really good under pressure, but it's like when it's not just one project, it's all the things. It's like 4 projects or whatever. And it's like, oh, I waited too long and then I'm rushed and I'm like, or if I'm late to a podcast or if I'm late anywhere, it's because I put something off too long. I procrastinated making breakfast too early or, on time for the kids, or I procrastinated my shower too long or whatever it is. And now I'm late. But I feel like procrastination totally is a big key factor that puts me in sideways.
Wow. It's very interesting because that's how the day started for me, in the sense that I had decided, I made a decision that I was going to be outside. And I was like, okay, do I want to do this on the patio? And it's like, nah, I want to be outside. I want to be in the grass and everything.
Do the nature thing.
And there was this sense of me that I had waited too long to decide. It was like closer to, because the process of me getting together and doing something, I take at least about a half an hour before I push go live, right? And so I'm just kind of like getting in the space to come on. And so that was like 15 minutes. So I like just cut that in half and I'm just, running. I'm like, I'm just there. I think I started like 5 or 10 minutes early, thinking that I was
another
late.
Weird thing about your thing this morning. It was like, you said, it's like, is it 7 o'clock yet? I'm like, look at you go.
Right. Because it was like, this is quote unquote the supposed time, right? Supposed to start this time. I started a little early. So for me, in my mind, I was already sideways because I started early.
The planner.
Because I was off, and it was like, okay, let's kind of go. And it's like, oh crap, this is not how I want it. And then I just like contributed to the slide, it's like, then so it is. And I didn't realize it until you said procrastination kind of helps. And I think most of the times, looking back, because I'm trying to connect the patterns, most of the times when I see that there were times when my wife and our conversation has gone sideways, there was a time element. There was something that I felt I should have said, or I need to say right now. There's this urgency or this something that I'm dealing with.
Or stagnancy or like giant pause.
Right. Or putting it that will cause like, if she says something, right, and I don't respond quickly enough, it's like, uh-oh, right? It's like, well, what does that mean? And it's just kind of just going there. So I think really that time element. Wow, I just, like I said,
another thing too, let's keep connecting the dots here, brother, because that's what we do. You mentioned in your show this morning something that got you into sideways mode was inconsistency, which also has to do with time elements.
Right. Yeah. It's there was, really recognizing and seeing that there's I say that I have an unhealthy relationship with consistency, but then I have a problem with inconsistency.
Right. So you're in that limbo zone.
Right. It's like,
I know we had a word for that somewhere, but you're like in the jelly zone where
it's like, what the hell? So where are you right now? Right.
And that's maybe where sideways happens.
Right.
Wow. When you don't know up from down, like, I'm just here,
Right. And you just, consistency, in between consistency and inconsistency is sideways, right?
Right. And what happens when you go too sideways? What happens when you keep
Uh,
moving sideways and you don't either stop or get back on the path? If you just
right.
keep going
Yeah,
sideways,
there and there. And
just
it's
keep veering, I'll
right.
find another path way over here,
There was something, I don't know I don't remember the math, but I remember that it wasn't that much. It was um, like 3%, or even 1%, difference. You can end up 4 miles away, or something. There was
Right.
something, a minor shift or a minor move, that can really change the trajectory, of you. And that there are times in my life that I think that there needs to be this massive change. And I think that's what the violence was. It's like, but that's how it. Like I said, that's how it felt. That it was like, you're not going to do it. Yes, I am. It's like, no, you're not. And then it was
Right.
like my hand was like, damn it.
Yeah, you want to
Right.
take care of yourself there.
Right. And it was just like, this is what we're doing right now. And it was really recognizing that, to really embrace that, change is constant, right? And but the only change that I don't want to say that I can have control of, but or that I can like benefit of, or sort of the benefit, is the one that I am willing to accept and embrace. And in that moment, I I feel that I was being asked to embrace, make it, and then kind of be with it. Because, like I said, there was, within 2 minutes, my right hand was like, I'm going to put this back the way it was, right?
No, you
And
won't.
it's like, it's like this fighting, don't touch it, don't move. And it's like, so it was just really interesting how quickly that, for me, that, um, I can be out of alignment with myself, or will do something to kind of cause me to get in alignment. Like, it's like, allow my heart to make a decision and then my head to catch up, instead of my head to say, whoa, wait a second, we're not going to do this. Heart, back off, right? But really embrace the alignment. And I think that's what, really recognizing, and just really say that there's, be willing to show up out of alignment,
Right.
sideways, right? To really, to really see what is possible within there. Because there will, I think, from what I remember about my emotions during to this morning, I woke up with, there was this sense of, I don't want to say frustration, disappointments, kind of. There was this like, ugh, I'm just
Right.
kind of, I'm like, I'm sick of your face, William Brown, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's, it's like, what are we doing, right?
Right.
It's like, um, and
The
there was,
masculine energy woke up
right.
proud and loud this morning, huh?
And there was this feeling near the end that there was like, we good,
Right.
right? We're sideways right now, but we're good. And that was something that I think I needed to kind of get me into, my day, and to have this conversation. And like I said, I am so glad that um, I had that moment, on video, right? Instead of, just by myself. And
It's a good
because,
one for you to refer back to because you
right.
can definitely see like some armor being shed there,
Mm,
you know,
mm,
um, to embrace the sideways.
right.
And, I got this. Let me see. Let me see if I can show this on a piece of paper here. I've got this visual in my head. See if I can find a marker. There we go. So, like, this is our path in life.
Right.
Okay. Our projected path, everything on the straight and narrow, just as we would perfectly have it, right?
Right.
You know, sideways can go either way. I think it's very awesome for us to want to embrace. We can embrace the sideways if we go like this, experience whatever happens here, and then we can go and hook back up on our path over here.
Right.
You know, we got some other experiences we need to show up either for ourselves sideways or deal with some sideways situations.
Right.
I think this path is just like boring. And if you're always on the straight and narrow, how much can you grow?
Right.
How much can you grow, and how many experiences are you truly going to get? It's like, you know, everything being sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Right.
And then there's this whole other scenario where we could just go sideways and never come back.
Right.
You know,
where to go, right? Where
did we go there? So I'm just showing this because, all right, you know, you have this huge endeavor that you're going on right now, and I'm excited for you, and I'm very much looking forward to being part of it in as many ways as possible. But I know that this is kind of a sideways thing for you because, you know, you're looking at purchasing a massive amount of property,
Right.
and with the hopes of doing a retreat center there. And it's amazing. I'd love for you to talk about it a little bit, but the fact of the timing,
Right.
the timing of it, rushed into it. You're like, and that's not normally you, but there's something telling you got to do it. Maybe that's that little you path that you got to take. Get out of your box for a minute, make the plan, give it up, and you'll fall back into your path.
Right. Yeah. There was it was like there was a moment, I don't know what label, it was like, you put my business all out in the streets. Look at you. I'm just, you know, it's like this is a private conversation that we're having and you're just out there. But no, we are I say we because there's a recognition that even though I'm a dreamer, I recognize that I'm also a leader, and a visionary. And with that, there is this, I have to say things so people can connect to that, so they can go along with. And I think sometimes in the past, I thought that I had to, quote unquote, make my dream work instead of sharing my dream with the right people, or people, and then the right people will hear that and be, to make that go. So I there's 60 acres, over 60 acres, right on the border of South Carolina and North Carolina. That in the mountains, in the bottom of the mountains there, and there's some elevation there too, so that's fun to walk on. But that that there are two desires of my heart, and one is to have a retreat center, or have a place where people, creatives, spiritual leaders, and coaches and healers can come together. It's like it's for them and it's for them at the same time. And what I mean by that is that it's for them to grow their business, or to show up in the world. And when they need to recharge and they need to get aligned to who they are, they can also come there for themselves. So that's the center part of it. And about 5 to 10 acres of that 60 plus land, I want to create a co-housing, housing that's affordable for people, because I want to end homelessness. I want to be a part of the conversation that give cities the solution to give people affordable housing. That doesn't mean poor people. It means people can afford to live in dignity
Right.
somewhere.
Right.
And no one who wants to live in a house is living on the streets. Period.
Right.
So yeah, that's that's the dream. That's I said when this property was, when I was made aware of this, I said, okay, I need to fail quickly because this will occupy my time. This will keep
Right.
me sideways. This will keep me not focused, right? And so I want to hear no sooner than later. And so I'm going to do whatever I need to do for the universe to say no. This is not the right time. This is not you. You missed it. And so there's a lot of things. It feels, it doesn't feel rushed. It feels like there's a hurriness to it. That, I mean, there's a part of me that feels that I am going to acquire and be on this land before the fall, and start basically, living out this dream here. And I was like, that's crazy. That's why it's like, are you going crazy right now? Right.
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 You going sideways?
Right. Are you going sideways? Right. And so really recognizing that I am going to do, I can see, I can see this vision. I can see things happening. And I am, and you're going to have to tell me no,
Right.
you're going to have to not just no, you're going to have to tell me hell no.
Right.
And that's, and I think that's the, really embracing that mustard seed faith. And it's because this is not just a gift for me. This is a gift. This is a gift for the world, because really the creators, the coaches, the healers, the spiritual leaders, that's how we change the world.
Right.
And so I want to be, and I currently am. I just realized a label that I have, because I'm a part of an organization called the Sacred Change Makers.
Oh, hey, that totally fits you. That's a perfect label for you, Bill.
And it's kind of interesting, because I'm going to need to talk to the group about what's going on, because I haven't even talked to them about it yet, because it's happened so fast. And it's like, whoa, wait a second. This sacred change maker thing, just, it's happening right in front of me. So
you're getting that message, right?
I'm getting that message. So yeah.
And other labels for you too. Dr. Deborah says, William, you are definitely a leader and a visionary. Embrace those. Those are beautiful labels to have.
Right. Sometimes I did something before. I had an idea before, and it didn't work out. And I made it mean that being a trailblazer and being too far out in front of people, you're just alone, right? So I had this, and I would say things, if you build it, they will come, only works in the movies. Right?
Yeah.
But
I remember the movie.
So it is one of those things. Am I going to, am I willing to look irrational? Am I willing to look foolish, or to kind of, not have all my shit together,
right? Exactly.
And still show up? It's like, fix your face. It's like, no, I'm good. I mean, there has been, I will tell you about the 7 a.m. There has been some times when I watched the replay and I was like, dude, couldn't you wash your face before you like went out? It's like your hair. It's like you're just like on, right? You know, it's like you want to like if you want to put some other things. Yeah,
that's what's important about it. You know, I'll tell you. I don't know. I've been kind of sideways lately with when it comes to doing the podcast. I look back to before Lessons and Legacies became a podcast, and I was doing the I Hire Me challenge and just coming on and being Melissa Price live, not Lessons and Legacies Melissa Price live, you know.
Right.
I would just show up like however. I mean, not like nasty,
right.
You know?
Right.
I wasn't showing up and shoveling food and crazy, you know.
Right.
But it'd be like if I didn't have a face on, I'd be like, all right, well, hey, I'm in my workout clothes. I'm outside. I'd make it a point to have like a nice background, and I'm not like living from my toilet or anything like that, you know. I make a little effort, but I didn't feel like I had. You know, like when I show up for Lessons and Legacies, it's my show. Right. So if I can't do this, I'm like, oh, it's not professional. Right. I don't know how people are going to look at me because it says Lessons and Legacies on the top of the thing instead of live.
Right. Right.
You know, tell me where the reasoning is with that. So my show, because there's this level of preparation that has to go on, I've got to be ready if I have this guest, if I don't. And again, I don't like prep like that. I more prep myself, like so that I look like I care to meet my guest. You know, I want to look presentable and show up, not look in a mess or out of sorts. Right. Because you're coming on my show. But if I was like, hey, you just want to hop on my Facebook Live, how you are, how I am, would anybody like think any different? Why it's a hang up for me? I don't know, but it's caused me to shorten the amount of episodes I'm doing in a week because of the get ready time. Not that it takes a lot of time for this to happen. You know? Because it's a little natural. No. I mean, it takes like, I got to have the kids occupied. It takes me like a half hour to do something. Right. And then, you know, get ready, get the screen thing together and do the banners and the tickers. So it's like an hour for me and the thing to be ready, and then an hour for the show. That's a 2-hour thing. Right. You know, when I would show up live, it was just like 45 minutes, hour. I don't care. I don't have to do anything. And so I don't know, but so rather than show up sideways, I am like, I'll just do less shows. Right. Where's the logic in this? Where's the rationale? You know, come on. We're going back to rationality and sideways and all this. So that's kind of a struggle where I'm at right now, trying to, well, I must not be crazy because I'm trying to, am I crazy? I don't know, this doesn't even make sense why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it anyway, you know?
There is that reason. And I think it, you know, goes back to what we were talking about before of looking good. It's like, what are we committed to? You know, that's what I say to myself. What am I committed to within the conversations of one-word conversations, within the conversations of, you know, healing conversations that I do on Thursday nights, or if it's the Happy Today morning reflections. It is like
in our view.
And our view. And I'm committed to fun and the view. That's just it. That's the only commitment to do that.
But we cry sometimes.
I think, and there is the fun in that, and I think that's what you ladies have really caused me to embrace, to really just be together, and whatever shows up and that's fun. I'm having fun.
Be you.
Right.
And sometimes you need a posse to help you realize that you are exactly what you need to be.
Right.
You know?
And it's just like, I think my the reason why I show up the way I show up at 7 a.m. is because I'm not thinking about how people will think I am.
You're fresher.
Right.
I feel like that's been happening to me for the last like 6 weeks, where I've wanted to get up and just be like, let me do something now, because I feel like rested. I feel connected. You don't have all the distractions of the day clouding you and making you doubtful and fearful and worrying and all that too. So I love that you show up that way. I want to show up that way. I miss showing up that way.
And just, just show up that way, so
Just be
it's just
you,
right. And
you
that
know?
it's, and I think that was the other, a repost that I did. I'm trying to remember, everything in it, but it was like paint. It's like when you paint yourself in a corner, you know, you can either like stay there or like bust through a wall. I mean, I think that's sort of the two choices, right? And
Right.
just kind of, and I think that there have been times when I look at the shows, where I look at some of the things, my dreams, or how within my communication and my relationships, I feel like I gotta do this because I had to do this. I have to, and it's like, it's not the truth. I can decide.
Right.
You were talking before about, and I won't go into it too far into the weeds, but it's the design of the overlays and anything of your show, and I will tell you that I had to like make like a contract with myself that I wasn't going to change the damn overlay after, because it was like, if you look at some of the earlier shows, I think I changed the overlay like 3 or 4 times, and then I just left it because of that contract that I made with myself,
Right.
because I was always getting, it's like, oh, let's try this, or let's try this, let's try this. But for me, it was like, dude, leave it alone, And
Right.
so
Yeah.
now I have an overlay. I said, I'm going to have an overlay for the season. I'm going to decide this
Should
is
we
the
call it,
season.
should we call it a permalay?
Right, a permalay, right? And it's just that's hilarious.
I had to. I was waiting for it. I'm like, come on. I know you got more laughs than that. That was good. I made myself blush on that one.
I was trying to like, okay, stay professional, stay very, and I was like,
It's a
good
sideways
Lord.
show. You got to have those moments in here,
I was like, all right, don't laugh too hard at this, right? It's like,
Don't snort.
right, So it is, it is just it is just something. So I recognize that there are more parts of my life that I am willing to I don't want to say laugh at or have fun with or just kind of be amused by, instead of disappointed, frustrated, all that, because it's like sometimes when it wasn't even cheerleader, it was like pepping myself up. It's like, you can do it, all right, just all right.
You're like Rocky,
right?
Bum, bum, bum.
And
wait, that's not even the right song, is it?
Yeah, it was. It's kind of.
Yeah.
The tempo was off a little, but you got all the notes right. But I think now, for me, it's just like, this is hilarious. This is a crazy idea. Let's do it, right? I mean, that's the kind of motivation. That's the type of cheerleading that I want to be for myself. That it's like, all right, this seems pretty weird. This is, you have done this in no time. Is this what you want to do? Yeah, let's go. We'll figure it out. And I think really recognizing that there's a term that I've used a couple of times in the morning, and that I've been exploring, called petty importance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, in the grand scheme of everything, this is petty. It's like meaningless, of
but
that.
Right now,
but it feels important, right?
Right.
There's an importance to it. So how can I balance the things that I need to be aware of, a part of, and show up for, that it means nothing and it means something.
That's
And
such a good question. My wheels are spinning right now.
and because
I'm actually pondering that.
Because if I'm not willing to, for me, it feels like, if I'm not really willing to sit with that question, I will go sideways more. More
Right. And then you'll just keep going and
right,
going and
and then
going
it's
and going
like,
until he's gone,
yeah, I had I had a call to this morning with my my spiritual mother, and she was saying, I was telling her about the video this morning, and she started singing part of the I'm a little teapot, just like tip
I know that
you
one.
over and
Then
pour
pour
you
me out.
and I was like, what are you trying to say there? And she just said again, tip you over, and because it's
Gotta
like
make room to fill.
right, you gotta make room, right?
Hmm.
It's like you need those
Yep.
moments that go sideways, that get the crap out, to let it go. I'm out of sorts. You shouldn't have been sorting it, and it's like getting your ducks in a row, right? It's like,
Right.
leave the ducks alone, right? I mean,
Well,
it's like,
here's, my kids, I don't know. I'm sure you remember from when you were a kid and when your kids were little. Do you remember the little plastic kiddie pools that we get,
yes,
like for the front yards when you're little?
yeah,
And I'm sure you remember when they became so quickly full of grass and mud and all that
yes.
stuff. Okay,
So,
well, pretend you are the kiddie pool
right.
and
Wow.
you're slowly getting grassed and mudded, and everybody's dipping into your vat of pool water here. And pretty soon it's all nasty and you're kind of full of all this, you know?
Right.
So what do we got to do? We got to drain the pool out
Right.
because we don't want to swim in that crap anymore.
Right.
Drain it out, let it go, and make room for fresh water.
Right.
Another analogy too, I've used this one with my husband, is like you got a nice pitcher of lemonade and it sat out in the sun and now it's hot, but it's up to the top. What do you need to do to make room for ice to cool it and make it the way it was supposed to and intended to be?
Right.
You got to dump some out,
Right.
Got to get some of that hot, nasty stuff out of there and make room for the cool, refreshing to put you back to the state of being you're intended to be.
Right.
So I think we have to embrace this sideways stuff. I'm telling you, embrace it and not be worried about it. And I think this kind of, again, both of us brought up the word, goes back to the word rational and irrational that you had on your show last week.
Right.
We were kind of bouncing back and forth, and Sister Precious, she brought up a good thing. Like, we should be proud to be irrational because that's what makes us who we are. We all think different. We are different. We should show up differently because there's only one of each of us. There's only one William Brown, only one Melissa Price, only one Precious Pauling, only one Deborah Dunstan, only one Yvette Goodridge, only one of every person out there. So, for us to go sideways and off the course, I feel as long as we come back to the path, you can't go where gravity is no longer. Stay within orbit of your path, but it's good. We have to, it's good to let those other parts of us take over and take control. You can't always be Mr. Masculine in control logic man. You have to be a dreamer. You have to be an adventurer. You have to step outside of the box if you're going to level up. You can't climb the higher mountain. If you don't know how to rock climb, you're going to be stuck to just foothills for the rest of your life. And if you don't know how to rock climb, you're never going to get that peak. So it's like we have to step away from our comfortable direct path to build, to learn, to grow, to fall down, scrape our knees, heal, and all that, And so I think that sideways, if we could just have a better, brighter perspective over it, we can embrace it. It's okay for me to show up frazzled and 5 minutes late. If I'm doing it every day, I got to get some self-awareness situation going on here. Get my alarms back and do better. That's called that's like a habit change. But just to show up and be you, that's your message. And I love that you had that card this morning too. Just be you and the world will adjust. And like you said it with some stank too.
I know. Yeah. It's like,
be you and the world will adjust. I was like, man, I was like, I feel like we grew up in Detroit together. Oh, come on. All right. Forget you, world. I'm me. But that's what we got to do, So I think the sideways thing is a good thing. I think that's where our creative parts come out, where we drop the sides of us that are bound to that assuredness, where it's got to be right, it's got to be planned, it's got to be structured. I think sideways is when the dreamer, the adventurer, the explorer, the creator wants to come out and play. And with what you're going on, I think your sideways mission, you got the dreamer, you're visualizing, you're creating, you've already got the classes and the people and all this. Like you're sideways and you got to sit in that pocket. But that's what you were told to do, was plan it. So in order to plan it, you got to dream it, because you can't plan something if you ain't dreamed it first. So you got to dream it, get it in your head, visualize it, plan it, and then let it go. Let it go and pray.
Right.
You know?
Just let it go.
I got to do that. I got to embrace that in a few different areas in my world right now. And I think the showing up for the show is just a small one. But if I got into any more of them, we'd be here for another hour.
So
as we're wrapping it up, what final thoughts do you have on what have you gotten from the conversation about sideways? Can you embrace sideways and be cool about sideways now, or do you still feel like you have some?
Yeah, I think I can. I think what I'm getting is that there's a time element in it. There is that time pressure that I pick on myself or on other people that causes the expectation to go sideways, to have it go out. And the more that I'm willing to not just judge that, but just be aware that there are some other factors involved that is causing this communication, causing this plan, causing this interaction to go sideways, then I can see where maybe I need to take a sideways to kind of get out of a sticky situation, or maybe and then come back, or to just let people know. And I think that really just being myself is like I said, this sometimes, be you and the world will adjust. It's like when I said it, I was like, okay, all right.
There's so much power in that. You have no idea. It's like the mantra that will follow me to my grave. And it's gotten me through so many things. And I got to see it get you through something today.
Right.
Like that's what it did for me when you gave it to me,
Right. and that's the one thing about things that we create as creators, that sometimes we think we're creating it for something at a time. And we know what we're creating. But then it's still, once we create something, it still gives back to us.
Right.
It's still showing us.
When we create it, it's part of our soul. It's part of our spirit. It's part of our design, our unique divine design, like the things that come out of me, that come out of you, they can't be the same.
Right.
Even if I copied something you were doing, it wouldn't be the same. There's a soul signature imprint on each thing that we manifest and create.
Right.
And that's part of our legacies that we leave behind. And we can't get those legacies without learning our lessons first.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if people want to get in touch with you, tell them where they can, where to find your shows, all that stuff. I've got your site here.
Yeah, so IamWilliamBrown.com, the store. You can get some of the wonderful things that I have. The Disconnect to Connect Conversations Facebook page and YouTube channel. I will be broadcasting on or going live on LinkedIn now. And I finally got approved to go live on LinkedIn. So it's like, finally, right?
Right.
So that's going to be fun and kind of, I'm doing that. But, you can, I am William on LinkedIn, and you can find me on Facebook. Just look for me.
Yeah, and be sure to check out our View with One Word Conversations on Sundays at 11 a.m.
Right.
That's myself and Precious, and we're blessed and happy and privileged enough to be alongside of you every Sunday. It's my favorite part of the week. So
yeah, it's just like I said, it's just fun, and I really think the more that we're willing to just come together and have not just fun with words, but just share who we are, and we can. I don't know why the word have delight in each other. That's just kind of strange, right? It's like that's an odd thing to say,
no,
right? Right?
It reminds me of the Lord,
right? And it's like, and because it is definitely church, right?
Yes.
It is definite. If it's there's definitely church, and so there is that, and I'm just excited, and starting next week, because I'm going to give some opportunities for some guests next Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday after that. The One Word Conversations will be themed with playing with words.
I want in on one of those. Right? I need to be part of that.
So yeah, you'll definitely be a part of the first episode of playing with words. So yeah, everybody comes in with a word and we play with it, and so that's gonna be fun. I'm really excited.
I might have just got a word off of this conversation here. I don't know if I want to share it with you. I was gonna message it to you. I was like, ooh, if we're playing with words, I might want to save it. Now I'm probably gonna message you. I suck at secrets.
You're just stuck at secrets. It's like, take a look at this.
Not secrets, but like surprises.
Right.
I'm a great secret keeper. I'm a bad surprise keeper. Like if I buy you something for your birthday in 3 weeks or Christmas in a month or whatever, I'm like, have it today. I'll get something else later. I just, I'm a giver.
Right. So, wonderful.
I don't spread lies and secrets and things like that.
Right.
I just like to spread joy and
right.
So
thanks for the clarification.
That's right. And blessing. As we're signing off, I'll let you guys know if you want to get in touch with me. You can contact me at lessonsandlegacies@gmail.com. I'm scrolling on the bottom there, and you can also check out my store, which is lessonsandlegacies.company.site. There's inspiration for all generations there, from greeting cards to candles, kits, services, books, and so many things. I have to have a list. I get down the list and I'm like, did I say that already? Just stop there.
It's a big list.
I'm going sideways. Right. I went sideways there. And then, like I said, I always show up to let you guys know and remind you that there's a blessing in every lesson. And I love what you have recently shown and brought to my attention is that it goes conversely. It's a cycle. There's a lesson with every blessing. There's a blessing with every lesson. As soon as you get through one, the next shows up. And, it's going to be a proof to you that we are in an anastrophic state here. The world is always working for our good. If you can embrace the lesson, you'll get to the blessing. Embrace them both and keep it going. So
thank
you so much, Big Brother, for being here. Big Brother,
not little sister.
And you guys have a blessed Tuesday, and we will see you back on Friday for Fab Fridays with Precious Pauling at 2:00. And thanks again, William. I love you tons.
All right. I love you too.
You guys have a fabulous